phone and they misplaced it.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, well, they're looking for a place for their annual meeting. I'm supposed to do Wyoming prices.
Phone and they misplaced it.
Okay.
Okay, I muted that. Looks like we're good to go.
Perfect. We're good to go now? All right, so the time is 5:06. I'll call the meeting to order for the Environmental Services Committee meeting of Thursday, October 3rd, 2024. Just a reminder that this meeting is being live streamed and recorded for public viewing and will be posted on the town's YouTube page. I'll remind the committee if there's a declaration of carrying interest to declare it at that time. We have nothing under delegations, so I will move to item 4. I have a motion moved by Councilor Wolvette, seconded by committee member Rapel, that the minutes be adopted by the Plympton-Wyoming Environmental Services Committee, and that those confidential minutes of the closed session of the committee remain confidential and restricted from public disclosure in accordance with the exemptions provided in the Municipal Freedom of Information and Protection of Privacy Act. That is the meeting minutes from September 5th, 2024. Is there any questions or concerns with those minutes? All right, seeing nothing, I'll call the vote. All in favor? That's carried. We have nothing under section 5. So I'll move on to item 6. I have a motion moved by Paul Rapel, moved by Councillor Bob Wolvette. The accounts as listed be received by the Plympton-Wyoming Environmental Services Committee. That is for August 2024 for the water and August 2024 for the sewer. Are there any questions about that? Mayor Atkinson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just a quick question, on the August 24 combined page. I believe it's listed as page 12 of 76. There's a line there with Coke Construction, the Confederation line, 94,000. Is that, do we have any more left, any more payments on that one, or is that wrap it up?
Through the chair, yeah, that's payment number 2. You'll still see payment number 3, and then you'll likely see a payment number 4 to release the holdback after the 60-day lien period has expired.
Thank you.
Everything right, Mr. Mayor?
That's all I have at this time. Yes, thank you.
Councilor Wolvette?
No, I have anything.
Okay, if there's nothing further, I'll call for the vote. All in favor? That's carried. Thank you. Move on to staff reports. 3 staff reports here. I have a motion here moved by Councilor Wolvette, seconded by committee member Rapel, that the report by Paul De Silva, Director of Public Works, dated September 26, 2024, regarding the 2025 proposed waste collection and disposal budget be received, endorsed, and forwarded to council for budget deliberations. So again, we got that staff report in advance. Is there any questions for Mr. De Silva? Mayor Atkinson?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. De Silva, this one that we're going to talk about, the waste collection and moving over to circular materials. As far as the dates and time for pickup, I know people will be asking, does that change at all? Or do we still stay with the same time and dates of pickup within their areas?
Yeah, through the chair, good question. For the next year, for sure, everything is going to remain status quo because we're still acting as a contractor for circular materials.
Okay.
We still have our contractor Marcotte doing both garbage and recycling at this time. On January 1st of 2026, that's when we're going to see some changes. That time frame is still January 1st of 2026, but we don't have any additional details of what exactly that transition process is going to look like for us. Whether they're going to have their own contractor or whether they're going to piggyback on our garbage collection contractor. Those questions still need to be answered. But as far as the residents are concerned with their waste collection, nothing is going to change for the year 2025.
So basically circular could job that out to somebody else.
Come 2026, they could potentially have their own contractor come into the town and other surrounding municipalities and do it themselves, yes.
If just as a reminder, if things do change in the dates and time, we obviously need to educate our residents on that. So you guys aren't getting bombarded with a lot of questions,
Yep.
phone calls.
You will, yeah.
Thank you.
Robert?
So this budget, as far as number of households that we're doing pickups, is this reflected in this 2025 budget? Like all the new homes, everything would be in here?
Yeah, through the chair. That's correct. So it's based on the most recent information that we have, and I'd like to thank Christine Justin. She's the one that put this together. So she has all of she knows exactly how many units are going to be picked up in 2025. Obviously, that'll increase as houses are constructed. But as of today's date, that number is fairly accurate, the 3726.
Okay, so it looks like, I'm reading this, it looks like things are gonna stay pretty well the same here. As far as costs, proposed wage rates, $170, that was 2024, $170 proposed for 2025. Any surplus or deficit be designated to or taken from the garbage if we need it either direction, so pretty well status quo. Yep.
No questions.
Roll together. Okay, see no questions, I'll call for the vote, all in favor? It's carried. Item 7.2. As a motion here by, you guessed it, committee member Paul Rapel and Councillor Bob Wolvett. That the report by Paul DeSilva, Director of Public Works, dated September 27th, 2024. Regarding the 2024 trenchless sanitary sewer repairs be received. And that the quote submitted by GFL Environmental in the amount of $36,950 plus HST be endorsed as an extension of an existing contract. Before the council for final approval. I believe, Mr. Silva, this is also in relation to that video you had sent.
It is,
Along
yeah.
as well. So is there any questions from the committee on this report?
Just one for Chair. When was the last time that these sewers were CCTV'd?
Through the chair, I believe when they were originally constructed.
Okay,
So
yeah, so that incrustation, that's, because I saw that, I'm like, wow,
yes.
it's been there for a while.
It takes very many years to get to that level of incrustation, so we've now commenced a program where we're going to be CCTV inspecting all sewers within the entire town on an 11-year rotation. All sewers will be flushed on a 3-year rotation, but the actual CCTV inspection is going to be on an 11-year rotation, just the way we broke it down into sewer sheds and what our available budget was. So we consider that to be a relatively high level of service. Most municipalities aren't doing it with that level of frequency.
No, that's it.
On my left, Mary Atkinson.
Well, thank you, Mr. Chair. The company that we've hired to do this, GFL, are they, was there other one? We've used them before, I believe, have we not? GFL?
So through the chair, that's the contractor that we hired to do our CCTV and flushing this year.
Right.
The town has never worked with them before. However, they bought a company called Sewer Technologies out of Port Perry and Windsor. They had 2 branches. I have worked extensively with that company before, and I regard them highly. So they definitely know how to do this work.
So this contract is for the job we're gonna do now. So then for our routine maintenance or whatever we're gonna be doing, we'll be doing tendering on that as well? Or are you just awarding these people this?
Yeah, through the chair again. So our original tender that we awarded to GFL was to do flushing and CCTV inspections. We entered into that contract this year, and it's a 3-year contract based on mutual consent. If we're happy and they're happy, we'll do 3 years with them. So as we go through and we find these deficiencies, we ask them to provide a quote so that we can just, when we leave Kimlaki, we're confident that everything is in good condition. So that was the intent of this particular quote, was to say, let's fix what we have. And then next year we'll go through the whole process again, where we'll pick another area, CCTV inspect, identify deficiencies, again, ask them for a quote. to repair.
Okay. In the future, moving ahead, like setting out your areas that you want to select for that, do you have any? You haven't got that far yet where you want to go yet, like what areas you want to work on and eventually do the whole municipality, I would presume.
Exactly, again, through the chair. We do know where we want to go and we're targeting our highest risk areas first. So the areas that we know we're experiencing high levels of infiltration and inflow.
Mhm.
Those are the areas that we're doing first. We know that Kamalaki is bad for inflow and infiltration. So that's why we started there. Next year, we'll go to another area of high risk. So we've kind of mapped that out in the contract, exactly where we want to be for the next 3 years. Just to target those high risk areas.
Because that was my question, if you've already got the wheels in motion, which is good.
Anything from you? No, sir. Okay. Further for Paul, the vote, all in favor? That's carried. Give her third and final staff report. I have a motion moved by Mayor Atkinson, seconded by Councillor Wolvette. The report by Paul De Silva, Director of Public Works, dated September 26th, 2024, regarding the 2025 proposed water and sewer budget be received, endorsed, and forwarded to council for budget deliberations. So again, we received that budget in advance. Watch anything first or?
No, it's unchanged from the one that we reviewed a month ago.
Okay, so is there any questions?
No,
So we'll call the vote, send it off to council. All in favor? Carried, thank you. Nothing under bylaws. I need to do section 9. I have a motion moved by Councillor Wolvette, seconded by Mayor Atkinson, that the minutes from the laws meeting be received for August 2024. Do you have any questions? Mayor Atkinson has a.
When is this big Confederation line project supposed to commence? We set up $80,000 in this budget, did we not, towards the laws? Confederation line.
I can answer
Yeah.
that.
yeah.
Through the chair. So our phase 1 that we just completed, we also replaced the laws main through that section. So next year, we're gonna do another section from Toronto Street before Ketter. I don't have the exact address in mind, but the 10-inch laws main that goes through that area
Yeah.
will be fully replaced in that section.
Okay. Is that the one that put the hole in over there?
It is.
Yeah. All right, well, that's good. She's new now then.
Yeah.
That's good. Okay.
Any other questions?
I just saw that one of the items was regarding the reservoir rehabilitation. That was that big project. Where they were rehabilitating those storage reservoirs. What was the status on that?
Like to update them, Mr.
I kind of.
Yeah, if you
That's
don't
okay. Sure. Yeah, through the chair. So that contract was a $14 million contract that was awarded to a company called Basin. In the process of doing that rehabilitation, so they're sandblasting the interior of those tanks. They found what they call mill scale, and this is a product that's generated from the manufacturing process that's supposed to be removed before you apply coatings. But for whatever reason, it wasn't removed. So now laws, the engineer, SEMA, and the contractor are all going back and forth. That has not been settled yet on how much more this is going to cost, because there's quite a bit more effort involved in sandblasting the mill scale off. So that has not, as of today, been resolved yet.
Yeah.
Anything else?
No.
I will call the vote to receive those minutes. All in favor? Carried. We have nothing under correspondence action required. So I'll move on to section 11. I have a motion moved by Mayor Atkinson, seconded by Councillor Wolvette, that the correspondence related to recommended reading and routine approval of information items not otherwise addressed by resolution be noted as received by the Plympton-Wyoming Environmental Services Committee and filed accordingly. So in there, we have the Jacobs monthly reports for July and August, and then a draft letter or a letter for a water leak warning letter. Is there any questions about any of those three items that you want to pull for discussion? Yeah, Atkinson?
No, I'm just, don't really want to pull, but just this letter that we've got about leaks. Is this a new standard letter that we put together to go on? So we're consistent with everything.
Through the chair. Yes, and Christine put this together, and it's actually, we're quite kind of excited about this because the new meters that we've installed with Neptune, they log data constantly. So if somebody, if it's showing that water is being used 24 hours a day, every single day, that's an indication that they have a leak because they shouldn't be using water when they're sleeping, right? So the system will generate a report giving us all the addresses where they have this continuous consumption. We can then proactively send a letter out to them saying, hey, you might have a leak, rather than waiting for months and then having a big water bill, right? So that's the intent of this letter.
So I like it. It's a good idea.
Yeah, so just elaborate a little bit more on that. You drive around doing your screening. That gives the exact time when the water is being used? Is that how you're getting this time thing?
Correct.
Is that right, eh?
On the hour, yes.
And the old meters never did that?
No.
It's interesting, very interesting. Wow. I don't think most of us knew that until now.
Mhm.
But it should help out, yeah, you'd be surprised how many toilets leak, stuff like that, so. So, oh yeah, so just to follow up on that. So as they're looking at the water bills and stuff here and they're seeing that, will they be sending out a notice or calling them or something saying, hey, it's what we're seeing on your water bill, or they have to wait to get their water bill?
You know, we would be sending, as soon as we got the information back from whoever's going out to take the readings. The actual software that we use will let us know which accounts are using water on 24 hours a day. At that point, we'll send them a letter immediately saying, hey, it looks like you have a leak. And I think there's some really, really good information in here because they can test it themselves and say, hey, putting the drops of food cluttering in the toilet is a really good way to know that the flapper is leaking, for example, or actually having a look at the meter to see if it's turning, and then you could determine, hey, maybe I do have a leak in my house. So there's really, really good information where it's the intention here is that people can kind of self-diagnose without having to call a plumber right away.
Oh, I think it's excellent.
Congratulations to the team that put that letter together.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think really good, especially since that precedent's been set where we don't really have any forgiveness for, so it's nice to be able to have this to.
Yeah.
Courtesy.
well, it kind of goes along with your infiltration too, when you think about it, because if there's continuous water running, that's going down the sewer.
Mhm.
Right, that could be a big deal for your infiltration. Correct. Right on.
Okay, so we have that motion to receive and file. All in favor? That's carried. Thank you. Move on to new business in relation to the Environmental Services Committee. I'll start with committee members. Anything? On my left?
I have nothing, Mr. Chair.
Councilor Bett?
Yeah, I guess the only thing I would have there, an update on these leaks and these copper lines out there. Where are we at with that? Are we all caught up with it, or are we still repairing them, or there was more out around Cullen, wasn't there?
Through the chair. We're all caught up as of today in terms of we don't have any active leaks going on. But with that said, we did put $200,000 in the capital budget so that we can proactively target those failing copper services.
Okay.
And we plan on doing that next year.
Thank you.
And I just have one question for Mr. Sill. Do we have any idea for when the second round of the Housing Enabling Fund decisions are coming out? Like, what are we expecting that to be before council has their budget deliberations? Like, will we know that answer by then?
I wish I had an answer for you.
I figured they probably.
The deadline is until November 1st, so we're still a month away from actual submitting the applications. And then knowing the way these things go, I wouldn't anticipate having anything back until March at the earliest.
Anything from staff?
Yeah, just one thing, thank you. I should have brought it up during the garbage disposal budget, but I did have a note that Councillor Wolvet had asked what our revenue looked like for e-waste. So what happens is we have the e-waste bin at our Reese's Corner shop. As soon as it's full, we make a call. The company comes and picks it up, they weigh it, they let us know how much it weighs, and we invoice them, and we typically generate about $1,500 a year.
Thank you. Anything else for staff?
For me.
We have nothing under section 13, so I will move to 14. I have a motion moved by Councillor Wolvette, seconded by Mayor Atkinson, that the Plympton-Wyoming Environmental Services Committee regular meeting be adjourned until the next regular meeting held November 7th, 2024 at 5 p.m. All in favor? It's carried. Thank you, everybody. That's everything for tonight.